So now that you have an idea of what sig figs are, I'm going to show you what to do with them in calculations. Now remember that a significant figure includes all the certain digits and the one uncertain digit that comes from making a measurement properly. So the first thing I'm going to show you is what to do when you multiply and divide. Okay? So let's just say I'm going to multiply 2.005 centimeters times 65.0040 centimeters. Okay. Now, for one thing, these are probably very expensive numbers because they both have a lot of significant figures. The number of significant figures is what I'm going to count up. Now, in the first factor, I have 4 significant figures. Every number there is significant. In the next factor, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 significant figures. So 6 sig figs here, 4 sig figs in this one. Now the rule for multiplication and division is that the answer, right here, once I do it, has to have the same number of sig figs as the factor did with the fewest going into the calculation, which is 4 sig figs. So I'm going to take my calculator and go 2.005 times 65.0040, and what I get is, according to my calculator, comes up with 130.3332. Now the deal is, I got to round this back to 4 sig figs. So rounding it back to 4 sig figs tells me 1, 2, 3, 4 are the ones I'm going to use. The answer, therefore, is going to be 130.3. The units coming out of it are centimeters squared. So the deal there is the factor with the fewest sig figs dictate what your significant figures of your answer are going to be. Here's another one. This time I'm going to do a division problem. Let's say I'm talking about the speed. You're calculating speed. Speed is equal to distance divided by time. And let's say that you're traveling 56 miles. And you're going to do that in 8.5 hours. Okay. Now, the first factor, 56, has 2 significant figures. The second factor, 8.5, has 2 significant figures. So I know that my answer is going to have 2 sig figs. Alright, so here we go. Throw this number in the calculator. 56 divided by 8.5. The answer I get that shows up on my calculator is crazy. It's 6.588235294412. Now, that number is absurd because the measurements going in to make that number were nowhere near that precise. So what do I got to do? Round it off. Rounding it off to 2 sig figs means I'm going to round it off somewhere right there. The answer then becomes 6. The 8 rounding makes the 5 a 6, so I get 6.6 miles per hour as my answer. 2 sig figs. Alright? I'm not changing the magnitude of the number. What I'm doing when I round is I'm just changing how precise it is. Okay? So here's the next set. Addition and subtraction. A little bit trickier. What you're going to do in addition and subtraction is you don't care about the number of sig figs at all, you're looking for the number of decimal places. It seems kind of counterintuitive, I guess, to do it that way, but that is how it's done because we're addressing the significant figure problem, which relates to the measurement and the precision, but when we add and subtract, we don't really worry about sig figs. So it's going to look like this. Let's say I have a series of numbers: 32.6 grams, 54.82 grams, 97 grams. Okay? I'm going to add these together. Now you already know that, okay, the first number has 3 sig figs, this number has 4 sig figs, this number has 2 sig figs, but I'm really not worried about that. What I am worried about is the number of decimal places. In this case, I have 1 decimal place, 54.82 has 2 decimal places, and 97 doesn't have a decimal place. There's no decimal place there. So my answer can't have any decimal places. So there will be no decimal places in the answer. Okay? So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and add them. I got 2 coming down, 6 and 8, 14, carry the 1. So I got 10, 14. Another one, 18, right? So I look at this, say, okay, my answer has to be rounded to no decimal places. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lop those guys off, and my real answer becomes 184 grams. All right? So that's how you do addition and subtraction.